Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another exciting episode of the Horror Heathen YouTube channel and the South Jersey Horror Podcast. Today, I am sitting down with Andrew Bales, who plays Tanner Behlman. I hope that's pronounced your character's last name, Behlman, from the movie Black Mold. And I come up with a caption with this movie. I had my little tagline. It's called "There's Something in the Air." So the moral of the story is: do not go into abandoned homes or buildings that have black mold. Otherwise, your mind is going to mess with you so much, and you're going to turn out like Andrew and Tanner in the movie. So just
It's a
anyway,
wise warning.
thank you, Andrew, for joining me today. How the hell are you doing?
Oh, I'm so good. It's so stoked to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, the honor and pleasure is all mine. So, last week spoke to Maisie about her character, young Brooke, and got her perspective. Now it's time to sit down and get your perspective of the movie. Um, for those who have not seen this movie, I'm going to tell you anyway, if you don't care or not. I don't give a shit. So, it's while exploring a decrepit and abandoned facility, an auspicious photographer faces off against her own traumatic past. Well, along with her sidekick, Tanner, he experiences the most psychotic breakthrough that I've seen through the entire movie, which I observed. In the beginning, he's a huge pain in the ass. He's very annoying, but towards the end, he gets better. So, um,
Oh man, I love it. I'm loving this review already.
so,
I felt that in the production as well.
but I happen to like Tanner towards the end. He kind of grew on me a little bit. So, um, I understand why he went to the mental breakthrough because the black mold was messing with his head. I get it. And then he got paranoid. Thought the guy was going to turn into a werewolf, which like maybe not. Who knows? So we'll see. So, anyway, if you could please tell us a little bit about yourself and where you come from, and how'd you get into acting?
Yeah, of course. I grew up in Florida, bounced around the state for a while, then did grad school, got my MFA in acting from Gainesville, University of Florida. Then moved to Chicago 13 years ago, and I've been in Chicago since. So 13
Wow.
years now.
So I've been to Florida and I've been to Chicago. My brother lives in Florida. He lives in Palm Bay.
Yeah.
So yeah, he loves it down there. I hate it. It's too hot for me. I'm
See,
sorry.
I'm a swamp boy. If I could lift this entire city and move it to Northwest Florida, I'd be the happiest person in the world. We'd probably sink the state, of course, but I would love it. I would love it.
I went to go visit for his birthday a couple years ago in November, and it was like 80 degrees in November. I'm like, really? This is nuts. I get off the plane. I get off the plane in Melbourne, and then get to my rental car. I'm like, holy shit, I need to change to my shorts. Just landed. It's like 80 degrees here. It is fucking November. So I'm like, what the hell's going on, man? This is not right.
Sounds about right.
And then my brother calls and said, hey, I'm at Buffalo Wild Wings in Palm Bay. Come meet me there. I'm like, okay. I get to Palm Bay. It's even hotter. I'm like, Jesus Christ, do they go from I don't know, hot magma to the sun or some shit?
Yeah, you'd think
What
moving
happened?
closer to the water it would cool it down, but nope.
Yeah.
The
Oh no.
ocean
Yeah.
actually makes the temperatures hotter.
And he's lived down there for 30 something years. God blesses him because he deals with hurricanes and the rainy wet. No, I can't do it. I'm sorry.
Oh, I think
I'm,
about
I'm too
moving back every day, especially
I'm
this
I'm, I'm
time
too
of year.
I'm too paranoid to live in Florida. It's not gonna happen. So yeah, I've been to Chicago, the Windy City.
Oh, it's the
Let's see,
best.
after Navy basic, we graduated. We were allowed to have like a Liberty Pass to go whatever. So I took a train from Great Lakes to Chicago, and I think it's like an hour and a half train ride. It was
Yeah.
crazy. I fell asleep. It was the best hour and a half nap I ever had in my entire life. So I get there with a bunch of friends. We have no idea what we're doing. We're just walking around blowing money. And I get to a store and it has like pagers and cell phones. Like, oh, can I buy a pager? I was like, probably a bad idea if I'm going back to basic training after this, because graduation is like 2 days.
Yeah.
So probably a bad idea. So I bought one anyway because I'm a dumbass. So, tried to hide it in my locker, and my RDC found the damn thing. He was like, "Why the f you got a pager, man? Are you a drug dealer?" I was like, "No, man, I need a pager." He's like, "For what?"
Get Ow. Was that up north in Illinois, right? Like up north
Yeah,
Illinois? I
yeah,
ride my
yeah,
bike past there all the time.
yeah.
That's a really cool spot.
Yeah. Great Lakes is also went there during the summertime. Really bad idea because it was like 98 degrees,
I'm
hot as
getting a
hell.
sense that you're not a fan of the heat.
I am not. Anything over 70 degrees, I'm done. I just turn me over and stick a fork in me. I'm done.
Oh
So
man, July is my favorite month of the year, so sorry to tell you.
my house, the temperature of my house is constantly at 66 degrees. It's perfect. So
Bumping that
anyways,
AC. But
so
I
okay,
did a bike ride around Lake Michigan 2 summers ago. I'm a big cyclist and I love biking around the lake. I love the water and a bike ride that I do usually is I bike up the coast. And then I'll see how far north I can get. And there's Zion, Illinois, is where Illinois Beach State Park is, and you pass the base that you're talking about on the way
yeah,
there. It's awesome up there. It really is beautiful.
yeah,
Fort
okay.
Sheridan is another park up there. It's really pretty up there.
Well, that was the only place I got to visit outside basic training in Great Lakes was Chicago.
Hmm.
Anything outside that was like forbidden for us to go visit. I'm like, really? Because I guess I don't know why, but whatever. Anyway, so the movie we digressed a little bit, which is okay.
Yeah,
I'm
sorry.
enjoying this. So no, no,
I
no.
warned you ahead of time. I can get sidetracked quite easily, and I love a good tangent. But we're here to talk about the film, not
Yes,
about lakes or oceans, neither of which
or
appear in black mold,
or my crappy experience in hot temperatures.
or
So
pagers, or cell phones, or the July heat.
this is back in 1997 when pages were a thing. So I mean,
Oh, oh man.
yeah, but
One
honestly,
more tangent. My best friend in middle school, he was the first person I knew to get a pager. He got a pager in 8th grade, which is way too young for someone to get a pager. And I remember just thinking how cool it was that he got a pager. Oh man, Chris got a pager. Chris got a pager. The only two people that paged him were his mom and his girlfriend. And
it
he
works,
regretted it
man.
immediately.
Yeah, but yeah, the artist he found it. I got a buttload of trouble, and
Yes.
I was like, never again. So anyway,
No good. Moral of the story, no good can come out of a pager.
exactly, I guess.
Back to the
So
film.
yes, but so Black Hole, right away, I can tell this movie is definitely it's psychologically driven. Um, what's your perspective on that? How that concept was brought into the film?
Hmm. Well, I mean, to me and my character, I saw it, I saw Tanner as just being Brooke's best friend. The one thing that I loved so much about their relationship was how platonic it was. And he was there just to support her the entire time. And yeah, being a little annoying, that is certainly an element throughout their relationship is his ability to kind of like bust her chops a bit here and there. But what I love so much about the relationship, especially like when she finds out that she got the grant, the photography grant, and then has the gallery opening, he's not jealous or envious of that at all. He's just strictly supportive of her. And that I think is what really helps in the arc of the film. It pulls the rug out from under the audience when he shifts and when he
Yeah.
turns. It really it's jarring. And I appreciate probably that the most is that turn in the film. And I think that's why that's what makes the film worth watching.
So I guess it's also safe to say that that Tanner is also clumsy.
Yes. I've had a few conversations with John Pata, the writer and director about Tanner. And especially since the movie has been, released to the world and on Tubi and just like there for the world to consume. You and I were talking about it a little bit before. Um, the average person, I think, is a little taken aback by him, and I think it's because he's not your average leading character, or he's not, he's not savvy, he's not built, he's not really even all that charming. He's this kind of skinny, nerdy dude. He's me.
Bullshit.
Yeah. And so people are not used to that. People aren't
Yeah.
used to seeing a lead character played that way.
Yeah.
And it's been a little challenging for me. I try to avoid the message boards and the user reviews because I think people can be a little, you know, not mean about it. I'm not like, oh, woe is me. Like people are bullying me. Oh, it's bringing me back to sixth grade all over again and being picked last in a softball game. Like I'm not like crying or losing any sleep over it.
Yeah.
It's just really fucking fascinating that people are a little baffled at this nerdy dude being a lead.
So I'm gonna tell you the same thing I tell everyone I interview, and my audience knows this of me. I'm very hard to impress when it comes to horror movies.
Yeah,
But this one, you delivered your role
thank you.
as Tanner. You did. Um, your
Thank
partner, I
you.
forgot her name. I forgot her name. Brooke.
Agnes.
And
Agnes
yeah,
Albright.
yeah, she plays Brooke. Um, sorry, I think Andrew played his role a little bit better than yours, but
Oh,
I think he played your role a little bit better than she did. So,
I think that my character is given more of an opportunity I don't want to use the word grow, but change.
yeah,
Whereas Agnes, Brooke, I should call her by her character name. Brooke, that character kind of is straight the entire time. So I
I
think
mean,
I have a little unfair advantage for sure.
she did good. She acted well exceptionally, but you delivered your role. You delivered Tanner to what I was expecting, which is great.
I
So,
appreciate that. Yeah,
and he
I'd
was
also be remiss to not say that throughout the entire production, this I mean I'm gonna be honest here. This was my first shot at this. I've been an actor my whole life, and I've done theater, I've done commercial, I've done some real small roles, but this was my first like leading film opportunities and there were moments where I was deer in headlights. It's real. It's not easy. It really isn't. It gets your heart rate pumping. And Agnes supported me throughout the entire production, and I know I would not have been able to do it without her. Like I would be remiss not to say that
yeah,
she
I
was
get
my rock to avoid. Not gonna that is a cliche, but she
yeah.
really her support meant everything to me.
I mean, I'll re-emphasize it, say that she did well. She performed exceptionally well. I will say that. But your character just clung on to me and like, dude, that's how I would act in that situation. Be all paranoid. It's like, is this guy gonna turn to a werewolf? We're in deep shit. I mean, so so how did you get involved with this movie and tell us your idea of your character Tanner? I mean,
Hmm.
I have to know.
Yeah, I auditioned for it, and then had three callbacks for it, all virtual. I actually didn't get to meet John or anyone until we showed up that day. And it was a bit of a blur. I was down in Florida for a wedding when I got the third callback. Didn't think I booked it because I didn't hear back that Friday. And the wedding was actually on a Friday. And so I'm there with all my friends, and these are all friends from UF, from Florida. And I'm telling them all I didn't get this role. I think I'm gonna move back to Florida. I'm giving up. I'm giving up on acting. This is it. This is my sign from above that it's time to move on. In fact, I'm driving back to Orlando in my mom's car. My favorite songwriter's Tom Petty. "Time to Move On," which is my favorite Tom Petty song off of Wildflowers, comes on. I'm like, if this isn't my sign, time to move on. So I drive to my brother and my sister-in-law's apartment, and I'm telling them, I'm like, yeah, I've made up my mind. This is it. I pull out my phone. I got an email from my agent. You booked black mold. I'm just like, what the heck? What is the universe telling me? And I keep reading the email. They say, can you be in Central Illinois tomorrow morning? I'm like, I'm down in Florida. So I have to fly back I fly back early. I go straight from the terminal to the rental car. I just like go down the line until I could get a car, and I drive to Rantoul, and I am there that night, and I'm on set the next day. It was that fast of a turnaround
Oh,
where
man, yeah, sounds like it. Jesus
yeah.
Christ, man.
So I mean, in terms of character preparation, there was none. And,
Wow.
and
When
in all honesty, like it was probably better that way because that way it didn't give me you know, any time to overthink it. I just
yeah.
cannonball went straight into it.
So no time to digest your role and to prepare for it. So it just like dive in head first, wish for the best, hope for the best.
Yes,
And it
yes.
work. It's great. I mean,
Thank you.
it worked. It
And I
worked.
will say, we did have a day to do camera test. We had a one additional day to like read a little bit, but that's it. Like we were in it. We were those first few scenes that you see of them uh photographing around the abandoned houses. uh, we were doing that before I could even catch a breath. Uh and again, I will reinforce the fact that I kind of preferred it that way because it didn't give me an opportunity to get in my head about it. I just zero to forget 0 to 60, 0 to 160. I mean, we just like gripped it and ripped it. But everybody was so supportive. Like the entire cast crew, John Pata, the writer director, he has become one of my best friends. Like it's been what, 3 years, I think, almost to the day. It was 3 years ago, maybe last week. I think March 1st was our first day of shooting. And in these last 3 years, John and I have collaborated on so many projects. And he has really become one of my best friends.
That's awesome. So a little advice for aspiring actors out there: don't read the script, just dive in head first and make
Yes.
it work. Hope for the best.
That's yeah, hope for the best. To remain cautiously optimistic.
And if you have to, get drunk. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that. So I noticed, okay, watching the movie, your character evolves from beginning to end. Like I said at the beginning, he's a huge pain in the ass, paranoid dude that thinks someone's gonna turn a werewolf. And then it like progressing to the middle and to the end, he gets better. He gets better at like being who he really is, showing his true colors, which I really appreciated. So how do you think your character evolved? I mean, I know how he evolved, but I want to hear your perspective on how he evolved.
Yeah, really, it was the black mold that affected both of them, all three of them, really, psychologically. Because we haven't even mentioned Jeremy Holm, the man upstairs, who plays both Agnes's father in the flashbacks, and then the vagrant who takes them hostage, Brooke and Tanner. And Jeremy does such a great job with both roles, and I love that about the script is that you see the two characters that he plays, but there's never any there is a purposeful ambiguity in the film, and you never really get a clear understanding of who is experiencing what, who is seeing what, because at the end of the film, are we doing spoilers? Is it okay to talk as
Let it rip.
okay? When Tanner kills the man, are you seeing that through Brooke? Are you seeing that through Tanner? When the man turns into the werewolf, is that really happening? Or are you only seeing that through Tanner's perspective. So much happens, but you're a bit uncertain who is seeing it, who is experiencing it, and why. Is CJ their friend who's supposed to pick them up? And you find out kind of like three-quarters through the film that
Yeah.
CJ's dead. Is CJ really dead? Or is that just what they are hallucinating? Is that what they are kind of concocting in their mind because of the mold? There is so
Yeah.
much purposeful ambiguity, so you're just kind of left with that as the viewer in the end to try to figure out. So like that last the credit sequence when you see Brooke developing the film in the lab, what I love so much about it is that that could just be a lab. Brooke could be in a lab, right? Developing film. People have come up to me thinking that that is a lab at an institution or a prison. Agnes is actually Brooke, I should say. Brooke is Agnes is not actually imprisoned. Brooke is there institutionalized because of what happened. And like
Right.
that thought never even occurred to us. But that is where the viewer could go.
So many ways to wrap your mind around this movie. I love it.
Truly.
A lot of open-ended questions, which, geez, I'm gonna have to go back and watch the movie now that you said that they provided that insight. I'm like, now I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, what actually happened?
Yeah.
So
Because you
I'm
can
gonna
watch it
watch it
through
a
so
second
many
time.
different lenses.
Yeah.
You really can. Like watch it just from Tanner's perspective, then watch it just from Brooke's perspective. They're two entirely different experiences. They really, really are.
So backing up a little bit, um, Tanner following CJ into the whatever the hell it was.
Yeah, the test cells. So
Uh,
I don't
yeah.
know if you know this. Sorry to cut you off, but like this is so fascinating. We shot that at a decommissioned Air Force base. So those are test cells where they used to test weapons. It was Chanute Air Force Base. And so those where we shot all of those were actual test cells for weaponry.
I'm gonna write that down real quick. Chanute.
Yeah, it's so freaking rad. It really is Chanute Air Force Base. It was prior to the Pentagon, it was the largest military base in the country.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So that actually answered one of my questions.
Yeah.
So it's like, what the sets like actual buildings, the interiors, were they dressed, were they constructed, was the combination of both?
When
So
you see, so all of the exterior were elements or buildings from Chanute. Uh, the actual set where we are being held captive by the man, where he has the fire that he's built, that is the only build that the production team actually built. But
okay,
that set was built in a hangar, an old hangar at Chanute Air Force Base. And I'll do a little plug for the production facility. They just got a grant. Flyover Studios is the name of the production company, and they're building it. They are actually creating this space where they want to bring in more film and more production companies to Central Illinois, to Rantoul, Illinois, which is just right outside Champaign, almost like smack dab in the middle of the state of Illinois. Um, and they're really doing some cool stuff down there. So I really wish them the best, and I'm an investor and kind of not high on the totem pole. I'm kind of low on the totem pole with it, but I really hope to continue working with Flyover. It's super badass what they're doing down there.
I'm loving this because Jesus Christ, 90% of the actors that I talk to, the movies are filmed in Georgia. I'm
Yeah,
like, Jesus Christ, there's more than one state in the whole
there
country, in the
is.
country,
There
So
is. And
I'm like,
Illinois, the state of Illinois is doing some real exciting stuff. And I'm saying this selfishly because I don't plan on moving
yeah,
anytime soon. I think that we could bring more opportunities to Illinois, and more production companies can come here and shoot here
Yeah.
for, I mean, definitely cheaper than New York or LA. I don't know compared to Georgia because I know that they have a lot of tax incentives. I know that Illinois is trying to match that, but there's opportunity here. There really
And
is.
it's the same reason why there are a lot of movies are filmed in Canada because the taxes are
Hmm.
cheaper. So,
Hmm.
but
Hmm.
Jesus Christ, put up. It's time to start putting other states on the map. I mean,
I could not
metaphorically
agree
speaking. So,
anymore.
yeah, metaphorically speaking. That's it because
Yes.
they're already there. So, metaphorically speaking, kind of Illinois. Like I said, I was there for basic training, and I loved
Yes.
Illinois. I'd like to go back to Chicago and visit one of these days, but I don't have the money for it. But um,
Come visit anytime. We'll be here.
okay. So we got about 6 minutes left. I got my warning about 4 minutes ago. This went by
I
really fucking
I
quick. Jesus
told you I
Christ.
was long-winded. I'm
So
sorry.
no. So the most intense scene, in your opinion, what's the most intense scene for you?
Oh, that final scene when he turns. And when the man turns and when Tanner turns. I'll give you a little, I might be cheating here. I maybe shouldn't admit this, but I will anyway. I hope I don't get in trouble. I am the actor in the werewolf costume because they needed someone skinny enough to fit. And they were like, "Can you do it?" And I said, "Why not?" So
Yeah.
so when you watch it, when you rewatch it, I'm killing myself. So
Wow.
that same day, I am the werewolf and I am also Tanner. So
That's awesome. Yeah.
that day was insane because like I was the killer and then I was the killed.
That is a new one for me. I never heard that before. So another first for my podcast,
Yeah.
the killer being killed. So or the victim being the killer be whatever. I'll figure it out in a
Yes.
minute. Okay.
You
So
heard it here first.
say okay, a quick question I'd like to ask everyone I talk to. If you could flip the script and end the movie in a different way, how would you do it?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I would like a little more insight into the mold, and how the mold affected them. So I would flip it so that Tanner survives, and I mean, obviously I'm saying that because I want a sequel. Black Bolt
It
2.
may happen. You never know. It may
Yeah,
happen.
exactly. So Tanner survives, and then he and Agnes wake up together, and then they figure out how to beat the mold and how to overcome the mold. I
Wow,
like a happy
awesome.
ending.
Okay. All right, John, get on it. Get on it. We
Yeah,
can
get
make it
on it,
happen.
John Pata.
Okay, so any upcoming roles, movies you have to talk about that you are starring in anytime soon?
Yeah, I wrote, produced, and am acting in a short film. Fun fact that we shot in Rantoul and we shot at Chanute. It's called Calhaven. It is a post-apocalyptic vampire western.
Interesting.
Yeah,
It sounds interesting, but at the same time, you're like, what?
yeah, yeah. That I heard genres are the way to go, so I'm really leaning hard into this one. And
So
I,
it's
oh, go ahead.
post-apocalyptic vampire western.
Correct. Correct. Yep. So it's really like 60-second elevator pitch. Hunter is the protagonist. We're living in like a post-apocalyptic world where only a handful of people have survived. He is attacked by a renegade outlaw gang of vampires who then attack him and steal his bicycle. And he then goes on a quest to locate the vampires and find his bike.
Wow,
The short
fucking
film is
neat.
the opening scene. I am hoping to parlay it into a feature, which I already have written. The short is premiering in 3 weeks at Panic Fest in Kansas City, and we're gonna keep shopping it around film festivals. And I'm gonna try to, keep the ball rolling and generate some interest and with sincere hopes to parlay it into a feature.
Fucking yeehaw! I'm looking forward to that one.
You heard it
So,
here first.
okay. About a minute left. I'm sorry, we got to end this. You've been fantastic. You're an awesome guest. Um, Ladies
Thank
and
you.
gentlemen, boys and girls, the talented, the gifted, the annoying. Andrew Bales, who plays Tanner Behlman, and we Black Mold, a psychological mind spank, now showing on Tubi. Check it out. I'm gonna check it out a second time today or tomorrow and try to get a better concept of this shit because it's really confusing. So thank you again. I wish you nothing but the best in your career and your future. You, sir, I will see you again on the big screen.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, my friend.
Pleasure's all mine. Take care.
Counting all the assholes in the room. Well, I'm definitely not alone. Well, I'm not alone. You're a liar, you're a cheater, you're a fool. Well, that's just like me, you. And I know you too.